going on, team? Proof here, and excuse me. And today I'm gonna be going over my Ryzen Nova deck in its current form, and it's about 2 months. Well, it's about a month after the English release of GPT-09, and about 2 months after the Japanese release. So I've had some time to go through various options for the Ryzen deck, and there's so much that I tried to try to maximize getting efficiency out of the deck that I tried some weird stuff along the way. But I think I have what I like as of now, and so I wanted to share it with you guys to show what my progress is as of now. And I'm gonna go through it, and I'm gonna talk about the different things that I tried in the various grade slots along the way. So hopefully this won't be super long, because I know I can get super wordy sometimes. So let's get into it. And I'm gonna start with the grade zeros. And so we have, oops, slide that back. We got four Lyre Lips are the Ryzen Nova crit. Definitely good for adding soul and being aggressive without losing much in hand, because you can just cycle her back into your hand after you attack, or after you use her to attack or boost. And of course you get the SP art when you get a chance to. 4 Silence Joker. He is the move to soul unflip crit. Really nice for putting pressure on the opponent, because more chances to check crits means you have a better chance to put damage on your opponent sooner. So it helps our aggressive side that we want to have, while also giving us means to put cards into the soul for Miracle Ace and Mayhem Tiger, which is our two main things we want to feed. 2 draw triggers. I know this looks really weird, but but I really like the draw trigger in here. I've been in my testing, it's come up at times when it was necessary, and it allows me to still play 8 crit that I've always wanted to play, but still keep a couple draw in there. The idea is that, got a little dirt under my sleeve. The idea is that if I use Ryzen Nova skill to pull out Double Watch and I haven't seen a draw trigger, that gives me a slightly better chance of not checking the other draw trigger if it's still, or the other stand trigger if it remains in the deck. Which means if I do trigger, if I happen to see one, then that's fine, but also gives me a better chance to check the crits. And so I don't think having this over the other Sonic Breaker, the other crit, I don't think it matters that much. And there's been a couple times when I've seen this draw trigger pop up like during the game, and it's helped me out more so than the crit would have, oddly enough. So as of now, I'm playing two draw triggers, because if anybody played this deck, they know how often seeing just the 2 little lonely Double Watch pop up in your damage zone happens more often than you like. And so kind of like that same philosophy can be applied to the draw trigger, where it shows up even when you don't expect it. And 2 Double Watch, because he's really efficient at unflipping. He's nice with a Supernova turn to call out from hand, just to get so you can do what you want to do off of 1 counter blast versus 2. And just 2, because you don't really need more than 2. I don't like playing 1-ofs that much in the deck, because with the random soul charging from him or from damage checks, you can lose one when you don't want to, and not having one of these in the deck or in your hand can potentially lose you the game. That's how good it is. And of course, 4 heals of your choice, just for G-Guards and all the general stuff that you need. So those are the zeros. As for the grade 1s, I have 4 Untouchable Millies. She is the charge PG. In my opinion, if you at all want to use Miracle Ace during the course of your game, I feel it's better to have Millie over Alma, even though Alma provides unflipping purposes, because having these extra 4 charge units in your deck when you're drive checking with Miracle Ace can mean the difference between having enough attacks to beat your opponent, or leaving your opponent with enough to survive, and then they could potentially win on the swing back. And so with that, I'd rather play the Millie, and sometimes her on-hit effect is relevant, which is when she attacks Vanguard while charging. If she hits, you can discard a card and return her back to your hand. So sometimes it comes in handy, funny, even though I don't use that much. And we got 4 Acrobat Verde, which is the stride enabler. I used to play 3 of these exclusively, but after seeing how, oh, forgot about the starter, Mecha Trainer. Can't forget about the boy. But yeah, Mecha Trainer is the starter that I still use. I know people have had success with other starters, but I love the utility that he provides me, and I haven't looked back since. And as for Acrobat, I noticed how if I don't have Rise of Nova in my hand, but I have a grade 3, I have to use Mecha Trainer to search out Acrobat, which is nice, but I wanted to maximize my chances of having Rise of Nova in my hand without using Mecha Trainer. And so I decided to add the 4th one in there because if it's in my hand and I don't have Rise of Nova, it allows me to play it early and then be aggressive early and get my Rise of Nova in my hand, and then I can save my Mecha Trainer for PG, Frog Raider, Eliza, which I want to get to, Heel Trigger, one of the Liar Lips that I have, things like that. So it just keeps my options open, and that's why I decided to up it to the 4th one. 3 Air Force Eliza. I really like Eliza. She was a sleeper card in performance from set 9, and what she does is that she enables the trips formation, quote unquote, because if you have her with a Frog Raider or another booster, usually Frog Raider, especially on your Picaro turns, you can just use her to bind your attacker, call it in front of Frog Raider, and then you get that extra attack off with whatever power Frog Raider has. And she enables a lot of finishing potential with Mayhem Tiger. I use 3 just because I chose to maximize other options, and with maximizing Acrobat I had to cut one somewhere, and I put the need for striding efficiently and consistently over what she does because I can reliably search her out with the likes of with Mecha Trainer or Rise of Nova skill or Picaro, things like that. And 3 Frog Raider. I wanted to play 4 just for gears until I realized that his ability says it can only restand if you call a unit with charge from one of your effects and not from any effect. And so that kind of destroyed the hetero round dream right there. And so I went back to 3 when I found that out, and 3 is still a good number because I can still get them out when I need to. I can use Mecha Trainer to grab them if there's a pinch moment that I need to grab them. And he's arguably the best grade 1, and he's the one you want to see for your finishing turn, especially Miracle Ace and Picaro. So definitely want to have one in hand or on board at all times. Not at all times because you can get retired or locked, but you want to have one available, at least one available when the moment comes. As for the grade 2s, start off with my favorite grade 2 at the current moment, Mayhem Tiger. I've hyped him up a lot to everybody, especially on my Discord and around the Facebook groups and the chat groups and the forums and stuff. And to me, he's lived up to that hype because his ability to hamstring your opponent to have to use their PG or G guard on your Vanguard so you don't risk the crit, which is why I'm playing more crits now, because the need to help him out as much as possible, plus helping out your other win condition of Miracle Ace. Being able to have him active and forcing your opponent to have a low hand can put them in a position where he can break through and win you the game. And just to reiterate to people that may not know, his Soul Blast ability is not once per turn. So as long as you have enough soul and your opponent keeps putting down non-PG grade 1s or things that are not G guards, you can keep destroying them with his ability because it activates when something is placed from hand to the guard circle, which, as Bushiroad told us, it's done. You do that one at a time, and so every time you do that, it procs Mayhem to be able to use his Soul Blast ability to destroy one of them. And so he's been a big game changer for Spikes because he alone took the focus solely, or took the focus away from a solely Miracle Ace build, and you can make a pure Supernova build or you can make a hybrid build like this one. And so I love them. I wouldn't play less than 3 of them, but that's my personal preference. I like 4 just because if I play one early, I still have 3 available for later. 3 Misery. She is our Amber clone, so she does what Ryza Nova does. She's great for your Miracle Ace turn, and I just realized that she's really good for your Supernova turn as well, because if you field her, you can get an extra attack off that you otherwise would not have usually gotten with your Supernova turn because she's around. The way to do that is you call her out with a booster, and you have Supernova as your Vanguard, and you call out a charge unit. You can attack with your Supernova and not use Ryza Nova's Stride ability to put a card into a soul and call one out. So you instead charge the charge unit that you have to the side here, and then after your triple drive and you attack with the side charge unit, you use Misery's ability in place of Ryza Nova's ability to get that fourth attack off. And so you net out with the same number of cards and number of soul number of cards in hand and the number of soul you have, but you get an extra attack off, which can force off a damage or force a G-Guard if you put something threatening out there, things like that. And so her value, once I realized that, went up in my head, because there was a time when I was playing two of her because I was doing some fancy stuff with Dudley Mason and Jumbo the stun gun. Excuse me. Because back, it was just this Friday, I played a build with 4 Dudley Mason and 2 Jumbo with the idea to be aggressive early, filter my hand out, and put Jumbo onto the field to fuel my Soul Charge engine. But that became cumbersome, and I'll explain that in a little bit. 2 Cobalt Impulse, this is a for now option. I'm gonna put these two side by side. These are 2 for now options because I really love Cobalt, but his ability, or not but I really love Cobalt in the deck because his on-hit ability to draw me a card is really nice, and he's less awkward than Lethal Forward is, because Lethal necessitates having an open rearguard slot, and if I'm going with the Misery play that I just described, he's better to have for that pressure than Lethal, because otherwise I can't use Lethal to call something out that I can use proactively. And so with Heatweeze here, the thinking is that just having that power available, especially with that Supernova turn, if I set up the Misery setup, I can have him attack for 26 on the opponent Vanguard, attack with Misery for 16k 21, maybe call him back out, maybe call a Doe back out, just to give myself more power to force my opponent into that window of losing to Miracle Ace or Picaro or a second stride Supernova. And that's why I wanted to go. He's been testing. He's currently in testing. He's been testing pretty okay. But I always know that I can go back to having 4 Cobalt again if I need to. And as for the Dudley Mason Jumbo tech that I described, it was nice for early game if I saw them. But if I didn't see Mason, or if I didn't see Mason specifically, I suddenly had 6 non-charge units in my deck. And if that meant I was going into Miracle Ace, I was less likely to check efficiently for charge units that I was looking for. So it kind of made it more luck based than it was just from a deck builder perspective, a more efficient deck. As for the grade 3s, we got our boy Ryza Nova. I would always play 4. I know some people have tried 3, but that goes back to the Acrobat idea of consistently making sure I have Ryza Nova as my Vanguard. Hopefully when he gets a G form, they replace his GB2 with a charge skill, because his GB2 is not as relevant. It's not always relevant, but I wish they made him a charge unit. Maybe I can replace him and have 4 more charge units in the deck with the same stride skill. That'd be nice. Maybe tack on draw card to it. But I would always play 4, and not just because he's my favorite card, but because he's the backbone of the deck. 2 Dobe, because he's really good with Supernova as being called out from hand and just attacking with it for 21,000. And especially with the idea of the Misery setup, or with an Eliza, because if you put him in front of Eliza, you can attack 28, 33, call him back out with Eliza, attack again for 21 to 23. He's nice to have, especially for forming a power column late, because if you have Dobe available, Hive Maker, or not Hive Maker, Kiwi's available, and Mayhem Tiger. It puts a lot of strain and pressure on your opponent's hand to manipulate how they want to guard with everything. And 2 Hive Maker, because he helps extend your Miracle Ace combo. He's really good with a second stride Supernova turn because he only costs a counterblast to use, and he attacks for 21 to 26 depending on if you call it out from deck, which gives you an extra attack or 2 that you may otherwise would not have had with the second stride Supernova turn. And I used to play 1 of Hive Maker, I used to play 1 Dobe, and this build to me is all about getting back to basics because I just wanted to, I think the idea was I needed to change my play up more so than I needed to change the deck up. And if you guys remember my previous video, I wanted to marry the 2 deck lists that I had together, and I think that's what this achieved after a month of heartbreak and disappointment and anguish. As for the strides, we got 4 Supernova. I play 4 because I play him first stride, and since I don't play the likes of Axe Diver in here, and there's no other means to efficiently get a third charge unit or a charge unit on board before you search with Rise of Nova skill, I like to have the Supernova available, and so I play 4 for that reason. I've actually learned that his 10k can be relevant in some matchups, such as Angel Feather when it can gain a defensive boost really quickly, and you may not have the means to Miracle Ace. You can power through with his plus 10k to the team. I really like it for the first stride just to flip and activate Picaro for later. Let's have a G-Guard and then I can have some more flexibility there. But I love it. So you can argue you wish his skill was better, but I think the way it is now is fine, and at least some design room open for his next stride, which I hope comes out sooner rather than later. 2 Miracle Ace. This change hurt me because I love Miracle Ace a lot, but I know that with Picaro, Tiger, all those available now, there's less of a need to try to string together a long Miracle Ace turn, or the idea that if you mess up the first Miracle Ace turn, you have nothing left to finish him off with another turn, so you use a second Miracle Ace or another stride. But now there's less pressure on him, and so I can reduce his number down to 2 and then help out, make some room for later. And I don't think I'll be going back to 4 soon because as more strides come out, more need for him goes down. But he's still around because he's a fantastic finisher to have. 2 Danford Lily. She's really good against Link Joker because I can put pressure on their hand without having to commit for Supernova and get 3 attacks off that way. And it helps me conserve for a bigger Miracle Ace turn in the future. It helps against Freeze Ray because she hits and then she comes down after they take damage with Freeze Ray if they're on Freeze Ray. So they can't lock her. They can use your other card to attack their rear guard slot so they gets that out the way and get the cycle of the card through. And to me, that makes it really good. So I wanted to play a second one. Then we have 2 Dirty Picaro. He, with Mayhem Tiger and Eliza, is our other win condition. And so for him, you need to have 3 counterblasts because you need 2 for his skill, and then you need 1 for your Eliza that's going to be called out through him. And you can achieve that by playing the head with a Devil Watch call during your first stride, so that way you leave enough room to safely take 3 damage. Or you can use it by having a Silence Joker in hand, which is another need to have the 4 that I talked about beforehand. And his value went up the second AG guards were announced and after Supernova came out. Because when you have Supernova, you can just flip 1 and now you're ready to go into him and call 3 your following turn. Or if you go Damfear plus G-Guard, you can do the same. Or if you're against a retired heavy deck, you can go Supernova plus G-Guard. You can spit out 4 units through his ability alone, which is really nice, and it's nice to have in the long run. And then 1 Sea Breeze, just in case somebody stalls you out. It's nice to have just to pressure because you have crits, and if you have Silence Joker or a 3rd Counterblast, you can call out with Rise of Nova skill and call out Mayhem Tiger, which puts more pressure on them and tries to punish the opponent for grade stalling. Then for G-Guards, I have too airy because she's a really efficient +5 shield to have. Used to have one, but now with the reduction in Miracle Ace, I had space for a second one, and she was the one I prioritized because ease of use. One Max, just because his use was better when I was trying out the funky Dudley Mason Jumbo deck because I had more units on the field to use with Max. But nowadays it's a little bit tougher to use, but he's still good to have in an emergency sense, just in case I have something on the board and they're attacking. He saved me He saved me a couple times in a couple games, so I definitely want to have just at least one around for those purposes. One Dismal for those times when I have a Misery in the front row. I can protect her and save her for a Miracle Ace turn or something like that. Usually if I use her, it's to save a key unit. So her, him, it, Being. I definitely want to keep one in there. And one to Gleam, just because having it for using the G-Guard to pitch a card gives you 2 chances to draw a charge unit before you go into Miracle Ace, which is really handy to have. And other than that, that's mainly the reason I want to use it. Unless you want to dig for Stride. I've done it a couple times when I've had no means to Stride, and I've used it to dig twice for Stride Fodder, and just give yourself that extra chance to do anything is always good. And that's the deck as it is now. I enjoy it as it is. I learned that I need to be more aggressive early, and I've been applying those tactics for the current time. That made no sense. I've been applying that recently, and it's been coming through for me. And so I want to see how things go as I continue to improve my gameplay with this deck. And yeah, that'll do it. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'm gonna put the deck list either on the side or down below. I should have mentioned that from the outset, but I didn't think about it. And this went longer than I thought it would. I'm still long-winded. I tried, guys. And so until next time, peace. Be easy.